It is the start of another new year and a new reading goal, but how many books do I want to read this year? 119? One more than last year? No. 100? A nice round number? Nope. 50? That's definitely doable, but still no. How about 1? Every year for the last 10 years, I have had a reading goal, starting off smaller and growing considerably larger, and with that comes a lot more pressure. Reading should be fun, but when I need to read to make content, I can sometimes lose that fun a little. In 2023, I set my goal to 1 for the first time ever, and it really helped. So for 2024, I'll be doing the same thing. Today, we're seeing if I can complete my reading goal 1 week into the year. The book that is going to be helping me complete my reading goal this week is Rebecca Ross's Ruthless Vows. This is the second book in the Divine Rivals series. I read Divine Rivals not too long ago, which means it's still fresh in my brain, which means I can actually remember the events, and I feel prepped and ready to go into book 2. If you would like to see my reading vlog for Divine Rivals, it is spoiler free. I will pop a link up here. I'm very excited about this one. This is a series I didn't really expect to like as much as I did. It's a historical fantasy romance following 2 journalists. They're rival journalists. It's enemies to lovers. They are war correspondents, or they're trying to become war correspondents throughout the journey of the first book. They are communicating with each other through these magical typewriters, and at the same time are being involved in this war that is between these 2 gods that everyone is fighting in. I want to know more about the war, I want to know more about the magic system, and I'm hoping we get both of those things in this book, but I really like the characters. I'm finding the setting incredibly interesting and learning more about the history of what is happening in this book, so I'm very excited for book 2. This is just a normal weekly reading vlog, so I'm going to be bringing you along on my activities for the week. Tomorrow I am heading to Oxford. I need to go in to speak to some people in the camera shop there, but I thought I would go into the bookshops whilst I'm there because it's Oxford. Oxford has great bookshops. It would be rude not to. And then on Sunday I'm heading to London to go see Peter Pan Goes Wrong with my family, which I am so excited about. My mum and I went to see the play that goes wrong for my birthday in July, and it was so funny, and this is by the same theatre company, so I can't wait for that. So that is the week. I'm going to bring you along with me, but for now I'm on Patreon sprints starting this book. Bit of a change of plans today. I was meant to be going to Oxford to have a look at a second-hand camera. I'm trying to expand a little bit more of my freelance work and expand a little bit into freelance photography as well. So I was meant to be going to look at a second-hand camera today, but annoyingly, that camera has been reserved overnight and is being bought today. I should have reserved it yesterday afternoon, but I didn't, and I have managed to find another camera. It's the same camera, but slightly better actually. I mean, they're both pretty good nick, but this one is better. And it's in Chichester, which is about an hour and 20 minutes away from me. I have been once before, but I can't really remember it, and I think it's meant to be quite pretty. So I'm gonna go today there instead and have a look. So we're still going out, but just Chichester, not Oxford. Started reading Ruthless Vows last night, and I am about 50 pages in. So far, this one's got going a lot quicker than Divine Rivals, which I like. It's jumped pretty much straight in, so we're right in the middle of everything, and I'm liking it so far. Yeah, so this is pretty much all I filmed, but for good reason. I got a little bit distracted in the camera shop. This is the Pentax P30, and it is not the camera that I expected to be buying yesterday, and it's also not the only camera that I bought yesterday, but this is a little manual film camera, and I am so excited to have a play about with this. I am really trying to grow not only my photography knowledge and experience, but also trying to reach into like a freelance photography angle in the future, hopefully the near future, as something that I think would really make me happy and possibly be a career shift for me in the coming years. And I just want to be able to play about with photography as much as I possibly can. I'm not sure that film will ever be anything that enters into that freelance stuff, but just being able to have a play about with film photography is just so fun. I've been using my little tiny Olympus Mu for the past year. This is the Olympus Mu 1, and honestly, great condition, as is this. This is from the 90s, this is from the 80s. I've bought them both obviously secondhand. I got this one in London Camera Exchange, and I got this one on eBay, I think. They are both in such good condition, but I've been really enjoying using this to just snap little moments and kind of use it in the same way that 20 years ago I would have used a disposable camera, but it's not disposable, and I get to use it again and again and again and get the film developed, and I'm excited. I've got one photo left on this roll at the moment, and then I get to develop the film, and I really want to see it. There's just something so exciting about capturing in film. I feel like it brings me back to really thinking about the moment and getting that picture exactly as I want it in that moment, rather than perfecting it and perfecting it and perfecting it and just doing the photo like 50 times until I get the perfect angle. You just get that one chance to really try and get that perfect moment. I mean, obviously you can have more than one chance, freelance, but you're taking up more film. I just like how it kind of changes the perception of how you take the photograph and why you're taking the photograph. So I'm so excited about this. This was something that I kind of had my eye on. Like, I wanted to see if there were any secondhand cameras available whilst I was out yesterday, and I found one in a charity shop that was £5, but they didn't know if it was working or not. And I thought, well, £5 isn't a lot if it's not working, but at the same time, it's also just like it completely might not work, whereas I could just wait and try and find one that I know works. And then I found the Pentax P30. This was in, as I said, London Camera Exchange. It was listed for £69. It included another lens, a case, a neck strap. I put my own neck strap on it because it had a little bit of a smell about it, and just a couple of other bits as well for £69, which in my opinion was a pretty good price for a camera like this that is pretty much in perfect condition, working beautifully, and is just a lovely camera. So I'm very excited about this. The camera that I set out to buy, I'm so excited. So as I've touched on, I am kind of trying to push a little bit into freelance photography, and I know it's not going to be an easy jump over, and it's going to be something that I'm going to be working my arse off, but I've had a real think as we've entered into the new year about what it is that makes me happy, what it is that makes me thrive, what I want from my life, where I'm being complacent, and whether I can change that. And a lot of the things I've landed on are trying to carve a more creative life for myself and a creative career, and being able to express that creativity through film and photography is something that makes me really happy. I've always loved filming things, and I've always loved photographing things. When I was 12, my mum got married to my stepdad, and my granddad had his big DSLR camera and he was photographing the wedding, and I basically just took the camera off of him and just started photographing it instead. And I think that that's like my first real memory of really loving photography, and ever since then I have pretty much always had a camera with me in some way or another. And I think with phones being able to take such brilliant photos as well now, it's just so much easier to consume that as a hobby, and I love it. And I would love to be able to transfer that into possibly some freelance work. I need to get a lot better. I need to learn things. I need to understand things, and I intend to do that, and I intend to practice as much as I can. But I'm so excited because this is something that I think could be really great. It could flop completely, but I'm going to put my all into this and really try and work my arse off, and I don't think it will flop. I'm going to go very positively and very optimistically, and I don't think it will flop. Anyway, all that to introduce my Sony Z4. I can't get out the habit of calling it the Z4 because my current camera is called the ZV-E10, but this is the Sony A7 IV, not Z. I just can't seem to apparently say that. I am so excited about this camera. So this is obviously just the body. I do have the lens arriving at the weekend, no, Friday, tomorrow. The lens is arriving tomorrow. I bought two lenses. This is secondhand, the lens is secondhand. I bought them all through London Camera Exchange, who were just fantastic. I have bought all of my camera gear for like the last 2 and a bit years through London Camera Exchange. What I also love is that this isn't sponsored by them, I'm making it sound like a sponsorship. What I also love is that they trade in against the cost of this. So I basically bought in a load of my old camera gear and saved myself a lot on buying this. So I'm very happy. Also, secondhand camera, immaculate, like barely used. Just, I couldn't have got a better deal, and I'm very excited for the lenses to arrive because at the moment I can just look at it. It's just pretty to look at. The camera that I have been using for photography is also the same one that I'm filming on at the moment, and is a great camera for filming. It's the Sony ZV-E10, and it is a really nice camera for photography as well, but there's a certain amount of things that it's lacking that a specifically photography focused camera is going to be able to offer me. Little things for me is having a viewfinder back. That is such a simple thing, and obviously not the only reason I bought this camera, but I don't have a viewfinder on the ZV-10, and I would love that for photography purposes, obviously not so much for film, but it's so nice to be able to have that again and to be able to feel like I'm really zoning in and focusing through that, because that is something that I've definitely been lacking in when taking some photos on the ZV-E10. Anyway, I'm going on and on about photography and you're here for books. I don't actually have a reading update, but I'm just very excited about these cameras and about the future in general this year. I feel like 2024 is going to be a really good year, and I'm very ready for that. I promise that the next update I give you will actually involve books. I promised you the next time I updated you would be with a reading update, and this is my reading update. I am currently about halfway through Ruthless Vows. I'm actually surprised about how fast I'm reading this, but I think this is probably echoing my reading experience with the first book. It's just so compelling and addictive, and you just love the characters so much that you just want to know that they're okay. We have jumped straight into the events after the first book ends, and I really like that because I think it removes any element that was a little bit slower in the first book. And yes, you do need the pacing like to have variety and to have those slower moments, but I think it diving straight in just has me instantly excited and hooked and invested. I really love the different relationships that we have in this series as well, both the friendships and the romantic relationships. I love seeing how they evolve and seeing the interactions, and the kind of found family element is there a little bit as well, and I love that trope so much, and I really like the way that it's been done in this book as well. Am I getting enough from the fantasy side of things? No, that is what I wanted from the first one. I wanted more from the fantasy side of things, and I feel like this one also isn't really going into the fantasy side of things as much as it could. Obviously this whole war is centered around a fantasy war, but it's just not really giving me the answers to my questions. There's mentions of magical items. There's like a magical car, but then they don't really talk about the specifics, and it's all very mysterious, and I feel like maybe it's drawing me along to then reveal it all at some point in the book, but it also could just be not really giving me enough detail. It feels like it's more of a historical romance than it is a fantasy historical romance, but it just has fantasy littered throughout it as well. I just want more from the fantasy. I like the fact that it's got this fate theme woven into the plot as well. I find that quite a nice storyline to weave into it. I can't really say much more than that because I don't want to spoil this one or the end of the first one, so I'm not going to say anything else. I'm about to drive back to my family home where I will be staying for the weekend. I'm hoping that tomorrow I can get out with my camera a little bit because I got my lenses today and I'm so excited. It's just been such rubbish weather for the last few days that I haven't really been able to go outside anywhere, so now to be able to go outside and take some photos tomorrow would be great. And then on Sunday we're heading into London to see Peter Pan Goes Wrong.
I can dance, I can learn to swoop moves. I
I did it. I completed my first book of the year and therefore completed my 2024 reading challenge. Yes! Goodreads really does make you feel like you've accomplished something. I think the graphics probably going to be gone now, but it gave me, yeah, it's gone now. It gave me like confetti and stuff. It, you know, really made me feel like I'd achieved something there. I really enjoyed reading Ruthless Vows. This is the second book in what I assume is a duology. This is a romance. It's a historical fantasy. I don't really know how much, like, I'm gonna say it delved into the fantasy in the end. I will say that it, you know, it definitely had fantasy elements in there, but it didn't really give me everything I wanted from them. It didn't really push in the directions that I was hoping to see from the fantasy side of things, but I still really enjoyed it and I really loved getting to know these characters. I really liked the romance in this book. I think that when you have characters that click together so well like this, it's kind of impossible not to root for them. This had heart, it had emotion, it had tension, it had big epic moments. I really liked seeing how everything ended up being strung together and how the crux of this plot came to be, and everything that built towards the ending I just think was done in a really interesting and fun approach, because we got to see it through the story of these journalists and through the media, and I liked that side of it as well. Obviously a lot of what you see from wars that have happened is what was recorded in the media through journalists, and it was interesting to be seeing this take place from those perspectives as the narrative voices. There was a specific chapter that followed a couple of extra characters in that chapter as they were experiencing something really horrible that was happening, and it was a really emotionally done chapter, really powerfully done. And yeah, reading that I was quite stunned really at the way that it was coming across. I can't really go into detail without spoiling things, so I won't, but that I thought was a really well done chapter, and if you read it you might know which chapter I mean, but I thought that was great. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I think it was a great book to start the year on, because it's just a book I wanted to read. It was just a book I fancied reading, and that is exactly the perfect way to start the reading year. I completed my reading challenge, so I've completed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will be doing lots more vlogs throughout 2024. I am so excited about all the content I have coming up. I can't wait to share it with you. Thank you so much for being here. If you would like to see any more content from me, I do have a Patreon where we do weekly live shows, or multiple times a week, as many live shows as we possibly can. Lots of readathons. There is a book club. There are digital downloads. There are Lightroom presets, shop discounts, an active Discord server. There are lots of different things. That is all linked down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you to my patrons for all of your support. I will see you in the next one.